So then, Scott, if a business does decide to hire an MSP, what are some things that they should consider before selecting the right partner?
Yeah, I think about it
MSP?
as like a checklist of things to
Yeah.
consider.
Mhm.
As you go through, uh, we can suggest a few things. One would be, are they familiar with DFARS, NIST, CMMC?
That's a big
Have they
one.
even heard of it?
Yeah.
If they haven't, boy, they've got a lot of learning to catch up on, to
Yeah.
just be that partner that you can rely
Yeah.
on. If they haven't been tuned in to the requirement and frankly becoming prepared, as part of their business and their business plan, are they heading in that direction? And they've already invested in training and getting some experience and putting some things in place. Are they on the path or not? That would be a thing. If you're going to, as Rick mentioned, if you're going to have your data hosted in their system, or even if your data is going to be backed up into their system, think about where the CUI lives, right? Is the CUI starting in an email that comes in, then it's getting saved, say, in a hosted folder? I'm going to simplify this. A hosted folder on the MSP's network, and then it's maintained over there. Well, then we got to know a whole lot about how it's being maintained there. Or is it saved in your internal network and then backed up nightly, let's say, for example, into their system? Now the CUI has been copied, backed up into their environment. So you're still now you have two environments to be considering here.
Yeah.
Rick, what are some of the other things that you'd want to think about in hiring an MSP?
Once again, yeah, and it kind of goes back to what you alluded to earlier, that the MSPs, they may have great solutions, but those solutions might not meet the letter of the law for the requirements for the NIST CMMC.
Yeah.
One of those might be multi-factor authentication, okay? We may set up group policies, but don't think about multi-factor authentication. So it just raises the bar a little bit higher with the multi-factor authentication aspect of it. Another aspect might be automating the process with a SIMS control. And so there is software that can be utilized that monitors all the logs and all the activities on a network. Whether it is an enclave or an on-prem solution with your entire network, it monitors it and gives you a heads up saying, oh, this activity happened, and you get an email or something like that. And so there are tools out there that can be leveraged as part of that. So those are a couple of things. The other thing you need to consider is, once again, your MSP provider has access to your environment. And what does that mean? Does just anybody have access to it, or have we vetted people, or what are, that's a consideration that we have to think about, is, who has access.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, I'd also add incident response to the list.
Yes.
It is required by DFARS specifically, but also within the NIST requirements, that in the event that a security incident occurs, okay, so you have let's say you have a ransomware attack or something, okay, or just malware on your computer, okay, and it can jeopardize CUI. It's reportable to the Department of Defense within 72 hours of discovery. I think it's of discovery, Rick, is that right? So you have 3 days with the clock ticking to gather the relevant information, save the relevant data, get the information well understood so that you can report it appropriately on the DoD system. How is that going to work? does the MSP have a plan? Do they have a policy? Are they prepared to quickly deal with these kind of things? Even if it happens over a weekend, your 72 hours is still ticking along, right? So it would be a question. What is your incident response plan? Have you tested it? Can you repeatedly respond within a 72-hour window?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be counting on you to do that, you know? So these are all just different questions. We could go on. There are many things to consider. But you're leaning on a third-party company to deal with all these details. But as Rick said, that doesn't take you off the hook from making sure that those details are being met.
Yeah.
So you gotta really vet a vendor in this case.
That's a good point, because ultimately the buck stops with you, right? You're still, your company is still held accountable, even though maybe the vendor is working with you, and it doesn't just alleviate all the responsibilities off of you and put it onto someone else.
Spot on.
Right.
Yep. Thank you for watching this video to the end. This is part of a longer series on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC compliance produced by Core Business Solutions. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video with a thumbs up, and click the bell to get notified when we drop a new video. Also, we'd appreciate it if you would share this video with your colleagues who need to stay up to speed on DFARS, NIST, and CMMC. Thank you, and we'll see you again in the next video.